All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sean here with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everyone. We are also going to spend the better part of the last 10 days in the month just kind of doing a quick little recap of the numismatic hobby, coins, currency, and everything there in between, of the best of the best and the worst of the worst of 2022. In this one, we're going to talk about the top, I guess, per denomination of U.S. coin errors that actually made it out into circulation. Now, where do we rival at? Because there were actually a number of really nice, cool errors that you could have found on some of the coins this year. But is 2022 better than what 2021 gave us with the Crown die chip, the amazing retain cud die break on the 2021 Lincoln cent, and dare I say it, even the burning building strike throughs that can be found on the oh my god, where's my brain? On the Tuskegee Airman Quarter, the final release of 2021 in regards to the America the Beautiful series. Quite surprisingly, I think last year, 2021 and 2022, kind of rivaled each other quite nicely. You're going to see that in this particular case, coming out of the gate, there were a lot of coins people were pumped about. The stuff that people did find were selling really well right off the bat until folks began to caught wind to the fact that, boy, these things are awfully common and they're like all over the place and they're on every single coin. Then things started to really cool down a little bit. But as we progress throughout the year, the American Women Series Quarter actually kind of a big deal this year. People really loved it. It was actually, I would say, probably one of the U.S. Mint's bigger successes of the year, if not for the last 2 years, which says a lot. And this is in spite of the fact that last year we saw the Silver Eagle transitional Type 1, Type 2 changeover that happened last year. We also saw the Morgan and Peace Dollar series came out last year. But the American Women's Series was the unadulterated kind of come from behind victory lap winner of the last 2 years. And because of the content, subject, whatever on the coins, that's really what endeared to a lot of people. All right. So we're going to highlight one error from each of the Lincoln cent, the Jefferson nickel. I actually have a Roosevelt dime we're going to talk about in this video. And also a quarter. But as you guys know, there were a number of quarters, 5 to be exact, of the American Women's Series quarters that came out this year, posing just a myriad of different possibilities of what you can find. And judging from the first few releases, the Maya Angelou, the Sally Ride, and the Wilma Mankiller, things were looking pretty crazy on the error coin market, and people made quite a bit of money from some of these little mini windfalls that they were finding out of their pocket change. All right, so I figured it's high time. We're going to go ahead and dive right in and see what we have here. So there were a few different coins I would say would be a pretty good fit here at the Lincoln cent position. But the one that has been constantly reliable all throughout the year in terms of the dramatic, beautiful nature of the coins, the imagery of a die clash on any coin is certainly one that is a can't miss. And this particular coin, the moment that it first came out, was white hot, ladies and gentlemen. This one right here ended up selling right out of the gate between $75 and $100, although that was short-lived as more pieces of these were being found. For those of you that are not aware of what a die clash is, it's really simple. So you have an anvil and a hammer die, and they make contact like this with whatever planchet is in there. So for a die clash to happen, there's supposed to be no planchet. All right, so the clashes clash and hit each other. thereby leaving the opposing designs on each of those dies. So when it goes to mint other coins with an actual planchet, whether it's a copper-coated zinc or a nickel or a copper nickel clad, like on a quarter or dime, it's going to take the opposing clashes from those dies and translate that onto the coin as the finished product that you see here. Now this one of the more recent sales, still a very, very incredibly valuable coin, coming in at 35 to 40 bucks if you were able to find one today. This one right here highlights, and this seller actually did a good job kind of explaining what we're seeing here with not only the text overlay, but also the black arrows, all kind of painting this picture for would-be collectors, both new and old, of what we're seeing here and why this is a relevant coin today in the error market. So you can see some of that clashing. This is all shield design that was clashed on the obverse die, and this is kind of like what we're seeing here with that transfer of design. It's very shallow, it's very weak, but on a coin in which it's not supposed to have these clashings, it's going to be quite strong. You can even see partial of E pluribus unum going across Lincoln's jacket and bow tie area. This thing is pretty nice. Here's some of the design behind Lincoln's head. Always something to keep an eye out for. Here's some more of the stronger stuff in front of his head, in front of his face rather, right above the date, top left of the date of the 2 of the date. You can see some of the letters of unum in there. So this one right here is actually attributed on Mad Die Clashes. It's a website that, as you know of, that highlights all of the various different types of clashes, counter clashes that you could find on your coins throughout many years and decades and across all denominations. It's a great resource. If you haven't looked at it or seen it to this point, make sure you go ahead and do that. It's actually pretty cool. Let me do this here, get a full view. So yeah, pretty nice, pretty neat, very, very, very nice find. If you're able to grab a hold of one of these, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to earn you a nice little bit of money in your pocket. And if you're able to find mid-state rolls of these, which they are still out there, actually in greater quantities than you would lead to believe, more likely you're going to find a number of them in the rolls, because in these rolls, if you find one, more than likely you're going to find 2 or 3 others in the same roll, and that could all equate, ladies and gentlemen, to big bucks if you're able to grab a hold of these in quantity. So, there was a really nice close-up of that the unum letters clashed right there in the fields. Very nice, and that's it. All right, so that's the Lincoln cent as being the most impactful coin error of 2022. Let's go ahead and take a look at the nickel. This one's actually a recent ad, and that's going to be the Smoking Jefferson or Smoking Tom nickels. These were originally discovered sometime in the end of September. Very few of them were being found, but when these eventually dropped as kind of a later wave of strikes at the end of the year, people were finding these things left and right at the end of October, going into the waning weeks and days of the month of November. So there was a very short window where people were finding these, and what it really is, and ladies and gentlemen, the nickel didn't have a whole lot going for it all throughout 2022 until this particular run just really, really knocked the doors down for the error market and for coin roll hunters abound. But you can see in this particular case, there's a pretty long anomaly coming out of Jefferson's mouth. It's indented into the coin, or incused into the coin, rather. And it's actually a section of hardened grease that was actually sitting on the die. And the real reason why they call it a field-restricted strike-through is that the feeder finger was actually making contact with the die when it was inserting the planchet for the next strike, and it was making contact to the top of the die in that particular case, thereby shifting and moving that hardened piece of grease on the coin. And when you have that hardened piece of grease, it has to make the strike, and the pressurization with the strike would still keep that hardened piece of grease on the die. It wouldn't move anywhere, and that's why you're able to see so many strikes with similar sized strike throughs, whether long and thin or they're a certain shape or size. Some would say, well, it's grease, wouldn't it eventually flatten out? Well, it would, but if it's a hardened piece of grease with metal shavings and dirt and dust and all sorts of other things mixed in there, it's really not going to go anywhere right away. You're going to see a number of strikes happen where this anomaly event would occur. There are other more impressive examples, ladies and gentlemen, where there's a strike through over his left eye, affectionately given the name of good old Smoking Tom the Pirate. Is another one that I've heard. I think it's clever, it's cute, kind of cool, considering that it looks like a big old nasty scar right on his face. Whatever happened to good old Tom's, eyeball? Well, he was making a pass at someone's wife, and he eventually got the rapier right down his face, and that was that. Or the butt of a rifle or something cracked his dome piece in a little bit and made him forget exactly what he was talking about before. So these very impressive. As far as the secondary market, man, these things are still very hot. I see a lot of them, especially with the dual event with the eyeball scratch, and then the one right here where it looks like smoke coming out of his mouth. These have been selling quite steadily for $50 and up, and they're going to continue staying that way until probably, if I had to guess, toward the beginning of summertime next year, until the next, I guess, 2023 nickel big thing comes out. I don't know. But being that this is a fresh discovery at the end of 2022, kind of speaks volumes for this coin. And the secondary market value certainly cannot be ignored. This is a really cool coin. So if you guys are still catching these nickels out there, I know we're 2 days away from Christmas holiday. You're going to have plenty of time next week to go to your banks and look for more of these rolled coins. While everybody's trying to focus on, Lincoln cents and quarters here, nobody's really going to pay attention to nickels except for a few of you. This would be a good opportunity for you guys to strike while the iron's hot, look for these things, and sell them before the year turns to 2023. All right, dimes were few and far between, but someone did sell this really cool elliptical clipped 2022p Roosevelt dime. This thing kind of came out of nowhere. There wasn't a whole lot out there this year for errors on this particular coin. This one right here has really neat, just partial rim on the top and bottom. You can see the elliptical clip right here. It's not curved in, it's following the rim, and it cut it off by quite a bit. Here's a reverse picture. It looks more like an egg shape or football shaped size because of the clip. You also have a missing rim or probably a Blakesley effect on the opposite side as well. $62 with 16 bids is what this one sold for. This is probably by far the neatest coin that I've seen on a Roosevelt dime in 2022. Really no fanfare here and no big surprise. This coin is tired and weak, and nobody's really looking at these things. So if there's anything out there, ladies and gentlemen, nobody really knows because nobody, again, is searching through dimes. And no big secret or surprise, the top winner of 2022 has to be these Wilma Mankiller retained cuts, whether you're talking about the one-sided affair or the double-sided events. Man, these things have spurned a whole just massive treasure hunt all across the East Coast that originally got started in Florida and Alabama and eastern Texas and a few of those other areas. These things have now all of a sudden been found all up and down the East Coast. There has been reported finds in Kentucky, one or a couple of them in Ohio, a few of them in the northeast corridor of the United States. So yeah, I mean, the greatest concentration of said coin that you're going to see here in a second have all been found in the southeast region of the U.S. Even going into Georgia, people have found a few of these there as well. So in case you guys needed a little bit of a refreshment of memory here, this one has the retained cud, or this raised area in relief right here, right above Washington's head. That also features still some design detail on that raised broken piece of die, which effectively makes it a retained cud and not a full-blown terminal state cud, as you would expect on some of the other coins. When you see just that completely bubbled over and no remnants of the B and E in Liberty, then that is a full-blown cud. I don't think the piece of die had fallen out at that point. It was just kind of like sitting there with a lot of play into it, but the pressurization of the strike still allowed for some of that detail to show up on that broken area of the die, which will show on the coin. This one comes in both the double-sided, so it would be just this obverse-sided retained cud, generally accompanied by a lot of weakness in the strike due to buildup of grease around the periphery of the coin, which is the outside part near the rim, which is quite common on strike-throughs. But also on the reverse, this is what they call the double-sided or the 2S version of the Wilma Mankiller error. This one has a pretty phenomenal crack that is pretty much a retained cut as well. The crack goes about 60% of the way through the coin and then stops. We were all thinking, could there have been, when this was discovered about 5-6 months ago, could there have been an example where the entire piece of the die had cracked in half completely? So that way we would see a much more advanced or terminal state of the retained cud, and we just haven't seen it. I think based off of how this was found and made as it is, as an error, the fact that the crack goes through the star, because the star was actually a centralized design point to the reverse of the die, people really like this one. And we've seen these coins. There was a raw example that had sold in excess of $1,000 at one point, and then they've all of a sudden came crashing down here through the holidays as more people were finding them and as more people have been sending them out into the secondary market by using like eBay. There have been 1 or 2 sales on Facebook Marketplace, and then various other areas as well. It's just the coins have a lot going for them, and to this point you could still sell these, the double-sided ones, by the way, for roughly around $500 on average. I've seen them sell for a little bit less, some for a little bit more, but again, the big kind of X factor in all this is condition. There are quite a few pretty well circulated examples that have come into the market just here in the last 30 days, and we're just going to see more of that. If you wait too long, you're not going to be able to find pristine examples as you used to 5-6 months ago when these things were hot over the summer. So this one sale right here was actually for 2 coins, one in which was graded NGC Mid-State 64, if I'm not mistaken. 64, obverse and reverse, retained die break. All right, so this is the 2S or double-sided event. It also had a second coin as well. So this was a 2-coin lot for $1,300. So you got a pair of these here. I don't know why they didn't elect to grade the second example. Might be because I don't know. I really don't know, to be honest with you. But this was a pretty cool auction listing here from the last 90 days. A 2-coin lot of this particular coin is amazing. So, yeah, pretty nice. Congratulations to anyone that found this coin while doing some hunting around here this year in 2020, let alone all the coins on the list, save for that dime. I mean, that's a one-shot. But if you guys found some of these coins, good job. Congratulations. If you did it so that way you could sell them online, Even better yet, I'm sure there's a number of you that found quite a few of these. You just have to be in the right place at the right time. If you lived in a certain area where these things were dropped in concentration, you would do really well. All right. And if you are in the coin hobby, you will know exactly the coins that are out there to be found. And I'm jealous for you guys. But at the same time, I'm very excited. I'd rather report the news that someone had found something out there. These things blow away any minor bullcrap die chip that you'll find on any other coin that a lot of other influencers talk about all the time. Like the Pooping Horse Nevada State Quarter, you gotta find it because it's worth nothing. It's probably worth less than face value at that point. But all the wrong coins get all the wrong press. But things like this that genuinely do come out into the marketplace and they get, just a bullseye on their back. These are the coins that we strive to look for. This is what gets us pumped up. It gets us really, really screaming with excitement. So let's see what 2023 is going to roll out. We're going to call the new mint director's bluff out as far as getting quality control to the hot and heavy kind of end of things where we're not going to see this level of errors anymore. I don't know. I think we're going to see more because when she made that announcement sometime last summer, all of a sudden we're getting the smoking toms left and right. How in the world does that happen, right, guys? That's it. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. This was actually a fun video. Glad to recap some of the biggest coin errors to have been found in 2022. Wish you guys nothing but the best of luck in all of your hunt endeavors as we head into the new year. Again, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everyone. All right, wishing you guys a lot of love and success. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. All right, so keep on hunting. See ya.